What is going on, boys and girls of YouTube? So today I'm bringing you an attacker slash ADC slash carry guide. In most MOBAs, it's either called ADC for attack damage carry or just carry. In Pokemon Unite, they have it labeled as an attacker for the most part, which is fine. It's really just straightforward. They just put a different name on it. So don't get too confused when you are jumping in the game and you see things. So your attackers are Venusaur, Pikachu, Ninetales, Greninja, Cinderace, and Cramorant. Your core carries, realistically, Cinderace is one of the truest ADCs where you're auto attacking and doing majority of your damage off of auto attacking and surviving and playing around the outskirts of the team fight. Similar to that is Greninja, who plays almost the same style with a little bit more mobility, I guess would be the word. You can run double mobility on Greninja and use an ability as a secure if you want to. Ninetales is more mage-esque for that carry role, where it's not an attack damage carry, it's more of the mage hard carry. Pikachu, similar, mage hard carry, does most of the damage off of their abilities. Venusaur is kind of a mix where he actually does a lot of auto attack damage, but it is mainly his abilities doing damage. And then Cramorant is more of that mage style where most of your damage is coming off of your abilities. Now, some other people might want to argue they play like all these some other characters as carries. Not true. It's one of the times where it's all attackers are your actual ADCs, carries, whatever, playing that role. This role is played in either the top or the bottom lane or both. You can have two in the same game. You don't have to have just one attacker. There isn't anything set, any set rule or anything along those lines. So you have the ability to play these multiple roles with, you can play with a support, match it with a support, match it with a defender, match it with an all-arounder. You can kind of match this up however you want, but you are playing that carry role. Now your main goal is to farm, get your levels, and play smart and safe when you do decide to play these characters, these Pokemon. I'm trying to jump into a practice real quick to show you guys how the laning ends up going. As I said, your main point is to carry. You do want to be the highest level at all times. You have, as the carry or attacker or ADC, you should be given the most access to the farm around you, meaning the person you're laning with, your partner, is kind of letting you get a little bit more of the XP. So when you run up, you're going to start off by running up here and clearing. Obviously, you clear your way to your lane. Nothing too fancy. I mean, you guys should be doing this. This should be automatic when you are spawning and playing a match. So clear everything, boom. I'm gonna be a little bit ahead here because obviously I don't have a lane partner, but you know, it is what it is. So you clear the lane. When you get to here, you and your partner want to try to secure this middle camp right here, this middle Pokemon creep. Securing this is like the neutral farm, meaning the farm you and the other enemy in your lane are going to be fighting over. So then you're going to want to grab this bottom farm down here, the bottom creep. Boom, got it. And then you're going to want to get your farm up here, off the top creep. So once these are dead, you have a little bit of time here to contest. See if the enemy team has cleared their bottom creep already. If they haven't, you can try to steal it, try to get a little snag right there, and last hit it with an ability or something, which is awesome if you are able to steal XP. But then once you go for that, these top creeps are going to spawn. Your clear should be a little bit faster, obviously, if you have two people in your lane rather than just yourself like I do right now. So you're going to clear this. Now, one thing to watch, then you're going to want to run down here and clear this. Now, as I said, I'm clearing a little bit slower than normal because there's only one of me. You will have a little bit more downtime at this point in the match. Like, you'll be waiting for these camps to spawn. One thing you need to know, there is a camp down here in your jungle. If you do this, you might screw over your jungler. So you only do this if he says it's okay, or he isn't planning on doing it, or he just leaves it here for a little while, at least for the first rotation. After that, farm it as much as you want. But then your farm is going to respawn. You're going to have the bottom creep spawn. You see the Pikachu cleared the middle wave, which is something you're going to want to get. You're not going to want to give him that middle wave that is there. This Pikachu kind of beat my ass. Shit. So yeah, that middle camp that he actually cleared while I was talking to you guys, this camp is going to be the hardest thing to secure. You're pretty much going to dance around the outskirts and just farm. And then you want to keep these camps on a rotation and be farming them as much as possible. Obviously, you're playing a game where you want to fight and kill people and score points. So that's the objective, the main objective. But to get there, you do not want to fall behind. It's a 10-minute match. You're playing a 10-minute match. So anytime you spend not clearing a camp is time that it's not respawning. So you're not getting it again. It's not going to spawn as many times in the match. Your enemy is probably farming during that time if they know what they're doing. And then AAD time as well, where say you're clearing something, they steal it, or if the other team just out secures you or manages to get these camps, you start to fall behind very quickly. So you need to make sure you are prioritizing this farm as a carry. And even your support, everything need to understand that it's important that you guys get that farm, right? Like you need to be getting that farm. Notice how I pulled that away from Pikachu. So yeah, you would use your abilities to secure the creep so it gets low, right? Like it's at low HP. You would then want to burst it down, make sure you lock it down. It's not super in depth, but because the game just came out and people are figuring it out, a lot of people just want to fight and brawl and run at people and say they're having fun. But if you're falling behind, you're not going to be having fun. If you're 2, 3, 4 levels behind, you are going to really just be getting railed and not enjoying yourself, and that's just the way it's going to be. Other point of the lane, so that's like the main objective, is getting your farm. Obviously you're going to be fighting back and forth, as I was just messing with Pikachu. Watch out for these parts of your lane, essentially all of the grass here, because this is where the enemy jungler is going to be coming from, right? Like this is where he's going to be coming from, there's no doubt about it. So when you're running around in your lane, you're clearing something, say, I don't know, say I go to clear a camp over here, right? Like say I'm clearing this. You're going to want to be looking and making sure you can see everything possible to see if that jungler comes from that bottom lane. Because if that jungler, or bottom of the middle lane, sorry, rotates in and you're anywhere near that part of the map, you're going to die. So if you're down here and you're hovering around, you're going to die. The jungler's going to jump on you. The jungler's going to insta-kill you. Even if you're in this area and you're not paying attention to this, really, you can be paying attention, he still kill you. A jungler could pop out of here, could blink and then eject and then jump on you with the movement ability. So please try to stay high ground on the map. Stay close to your tower at all times as a carry. Don't waste your movement abilities. Having your movement abilities up is going to be very, very core for you not dying and you really having fun. To be honest, because if you're dying, you're probably not having fun. Last part of the laning phase, besides killing, besides scoring, is going to be rotating. As a carry, rotating matters. It's way more important that you get farm and you don't over rotate rather than rotating at all, which is weird to say because in most MOBAs you get really upset when your teammates aren't rotating the team fights. Your teammates are just running it down their lane and inting. In Unite, if you're split pushing, like say everyone rotates bottom right now and I decide I'm gonna stay here, I'm gonna push, I'm gonna score. Say everyone rotates bottom, I'm gonna score. Well, all these points that have been left over from farming are available to you. Obviously they're available to your teammate too if you decide to die, but all of this extra farm is still here. So if the enemy team is not in your lane and you're just pushing, you can keep scoring over and over and over again, and you can run it down the lane and score a lot of points. Now if your team is getting shit stomped, if Zapdos is coming up, if major objectives are being contested, or just lots of points are available for the enemy team to score, you got to pay attention to that, and you do need to be looking to rotate the team fights. So I kind of weigh it. You'll get used to it. The more you play the game, you'll be able to weigh it better and better and better. It does, you know, take some time to really figure out what you want to be doing. So don't be afraid to experiment, test things, see, rotate sometimes, not rotate other times to see what feels more comfortable for you. Keep looking for the carry role. Come in, grab some kills, go back to farming, go back to getting some points. Points are what matters in the end of the game, not your kills. It's dope having a lot of kills, but you won't have a lot of kills if you're not farming. You won't have a lot of kills if you're not scoring, and the game's probably just not going to be as enjoyable if you aren't playing it based on the information. So that's the carry role. Farm, play safe, stay around your tower, obviously target and pick your fights correctly and as the best you can. And then the last steps are rotating or staying in your lane and pushing. For a majority of the time, as mentioned, you'll stay in lane, you'll farm, you'll play safe, you'll play clean, but you have to rotate. Eventually you have to join these team fights, especially if they're close. If they're near your lane, rotate over and be a part of those team fights. Don't leave your teammates hanging. Hopefully this carry guide explains a little bit. I think a lot of people just miss the idea of farming and the initial rotation through the laning phase, which is, like I said, middle, back left, up top again, and then bottom left. Or if you're on the right side, just flip it around and put right instead of left into those words. Hopefully this guide helps you guys. Please drop a like, make sure you're subscribed, leave a comment on anything else you guys want to learn or understand, or something. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Like I said, hopefully this helps you. I'll see you on the video later today, later tomorrow, and the next day.